Happy Monday morning, November 3rd. We're going to be doing a new kind of video today that I'm going to be doing on my channel now, where we just talk about like the news in the comic book and collectible industry. This is something that I kind of keep up with on my own already. And I was like, you know what, let's just make a video about it. Let's just start putting these up a couple times a week. I want to post more on YouTube and stuff. So yeah, that's what this is going to be. So let's just jump right into some of the news here that we got going on. Plus I got this new little side panel of me here. I don't know. The first thing I wanted to talk about actually is just the omnibuses that are coming out this week. Okay, because there's a bunch of omnibuses. Now, if you don't know what an omnibus is, let me show you really quick. All right, here's an omnibus. These are thick boys that make up an entire run and take a bunch of trades or a bunch of single issues, whatever you want to call it, make them bigger, and then put them on really nice paper in these huge bound books that are really awesome. This is X-Men. This is Extinction Agenda. I haven't read this one yet, but I just wanted to bring this out as an example of like, this is what an omnibus is, right? So what do we have coming out new this week? We have the Spectre. Okay. This is interesting. I love the Spectre as a character. I do have the first appearance. I have the first, second, and third appearance of the Spectre in the Silver Age right over there on my wall. The Spectre is such a powerful character, and he's one of, like, I don't know how to put it. He's one of the most powerful characters in all of DC. The things he does, the feats like holding two worlds apart and stuff, and the things he's capable of are pretty crazy. His upper limits of power are insane. So I don't know that much about this run, but I am going to be looking into this because I do think that, the more Spectre I can get in my collection, the better. The Secret Six is Volume 2 is definitely interesting. I did not pick up Volume 1, but this does look kind of interesting with like Deadshot and Bane and some of these other characters that we have going on here. So maybe that's worth looking into. I'm not sure. I have to look up, this Secret Six and see if that's something I want to add to my collection. The New Avengers Volume 2 Omnibus. I have Volume 1. I definitely want to pick this up. This is one that I don't know if it's going to be available super long. So I think jumping at the opportunity to get this is definitely a good idea. And then you have Star Wars: The Old Republic, Volume 2. I started reading Star Wars: The High Republic, I believe it was, and it's very good. And if the Old Republic is anything like that, then this is going to be a really great omnibus. Now, this is Marvel Legends, right? So anything with the Legends little tag down here is not canon anymore. Now, that said, though, these can still be really great reads. So if you are interested in Star Wars and you just want more content to read, then go ahead and pick these up. I think these are really cool. And, if they're printing them, there must be some kind of demand for them. Blade Runner 2035. Not really on my radar, and neither is Tales of Ladybug and Cat Noir. That one looks like it's more targeted at kids. But anyway, a lot of omnibuses coming out now. A lot of omnibuses are coming out in general. It's so much more than when I originally started collecting them years ago. It's great to see, but it also makes it so hard to keep up with the new omnibuses that are coming out. Now, let's talk about DCKO. I'm just going to quickly just say that I think this is a really cool event. I'm not going to get into the details too much because I don't want to do any spoilers, but let's just look at this cover right here, right? You have Abomination. You've got Zatanna. This guy, what's his name? He's from the Grant Morrison run of Justice League. Interesting villain there, right? Batman, of course, Cyborg. Who else? We got Plastic Man here, Power Girl. Firestorm. It looks like we got Green Lantern back here. The cover is awesome, and it is showing off what is going on in this book, which is that it's basically a huge brawl. They're trying to see who's going to be the person to be able to take down Darkseid. Again, I'm not going to get too deep into it. They did do some blind bags for these that I know were pretty popular. The thing is, I haven't decided what I feel about blind bags yet for comic books. I think it's a cool idea, but everything, has to be a blind bag or a blind box, nowadays. And, maybe it's the right move for the industry. Maybe it makes it more collectible, but I don't know. Sometimes I like to just be able to pick a cover and go and buy it. I'm not the kind of person that buys a billion different variants of comic books. I usually just go for the A cover. So maybe for people that are big variant collectors, the blind box, the blind bags are like a really cool thing. I don't know. Let me know what your opinions are on the blind bags when it comes to comic books. But yeah, this is a very cool event. This is coming out of everything that happened with the Absolute Universe. And I am excited to see where this goes. We'll have to see. I think DC is in a really great place right now with their comics. They're I've always been a fan of DC. I would say that I'm probably leaning a little bit more DC than I do Marvel. Some of my favorite runs of all time, like, for a modern run, Scott Snyder's Batman would be one of them. Some of my favorite runs of all time are DC. And I just think that, yeah, like I said, they're just doing a great job. So DCKO, definitely go pick that up. They're doing a reprint that they do mention in this article. Oh, yeah. So I wanted to mention this as well. I guess a bunch of movies from the DCAU, the DC Animated Universe, are leaving HBO. Superman and DC Comics fans are about to lose more than half a dozen of the best animated superhero movies on one of the biggest streaming platforms, right? So that were on HBO. Now, HBO has been a really good source of animated content. And something I want to mention here is that, if you don't know anything about DC and Marvel animated, DC has a great DC animated universe. They've done a really good job with it, and they've made some really great, they're kind of the opposite of Marvel, right? Where Marvel, their animated stuff isn't very good or well known, but their live action has been great. DC has struggled with live action, but their animated stuff has been really great. So it's sad to see these things go from, HBO. What is actually going off there? Let's see. It's going to be Batman and Superman, Battle of the Super Sons, Superman, Batman, Public Enemies, Superman, Man of Tomorrow, Superman, Red Sun, Superman Unbound, The Death of Superman, and Reign of the Superman. Reign of the Superman would be the event that came out of the death of the Superman. Will all be leaving the platform, as well as the live-action Shazam, starring Zachary Levi. Okay, let's just be real. I'm not that concerned about the Shazam leaving. I let me know in the comments if you feel different, but I'd rather see the animated stuff stay. Now, I will say the best thing that they have on HBO is Batman the Animated Series. If you haven't watched that, Batman Animated. Yeah, we've all collectively decided that Batman the Animated Series is peak Batman. It's a nostalgia engine, kind of, right? We all remember this show from when we were kids, or some of us do anyway. I was a kid in the 90s, so I absolutely remember this show. That is still on HBO, and so is the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited animated series. Those are on their own little corner of the DC animated universe, but they're really awesome. And I think even Adventures of Superman, or Superman Adventures, or the Superman animated, I think that's on there as well. Luckily, we're not losing this, but the modern DC AU stuff, some of it's going. Now, I wonder where it's going to end up. I'm not sure, but yeah, it is sad to see those go for sure. Now, one other thing I wanted to talk about, Marvel has their own thing going on with the Ultimate Universe. The Absolute Universe over at DC kind of reminds me of what they did with the Ultimate Universe at Marvel originally. Now, it is its own thing. It is unique. I would say that the Absolute Universe is definitely darker, very modern take on superheroes, where that's actually similar. And now that I'm saying it out loud, that is similar to what they did with the Ultimate Universe originally. It was more modern. It was more of a realistic take. However, the Absolute Universe is definitely darker, whereas I don't think the Ultimate Universe was like a darker version. It was just a newer, updated version of the characters. So that kind of differentiates the two. One of the craziest things to come out of the Ultimate Universe was the Maker. Okay, so the Maker is Reed Richards from the Ultimate Universe. Now remember, Reed Richards is like the smartest person in all of Marvel. So imagine Reed Richards as a villain. Let's look him up really quick. The Maker. This guy. Okay, he's got this like big stretched out head, almost like a xenomorph. What if Reed Richards decided, I'm going to be a villain? How dangerous would it be? More dangerous than even Doctor Doom, I'll say it. The potential for what the Maker can do and what he's already done is insane. And he's altered like these heroes' past and kind of taken their powers. And Miles Morales has some of the boxes containing their powers. It's comic book logic, This stuff's kind of crazy, but the Maker is what kind of led to the new Ultimate Universe going on. And this event is coming up, right? Witness the Origin of the End. Armageddon assembles June 2026. I got to be honest, I'm all in on DC right now. I haven't been keeping up with Marvel as much. The Absolute Universe at DC is great. I also want to highlight Matt Fraction's Batman. I think is off to a really strong start with kind of a crazy stuff going on in the comics right now. But this might pull me back in from Marvel. So we'll have to see. I'm going to probably read this digitally. I know. But look, I collected physical comics for 10 years. So sometimes I read digitally now. I think that the Ultimate Spider-Man has been doing pretty well. I'm not sure how the other Ultimate titles are doing in Marvel right now. Leave a comment. Let me know if you're enjoying any of the Ultimate titles that are going on right now. I believe they brought back they made like an Ultimate Wolverine I saw, and I think there's Ultimate X-Men and things like that. I just had my kind of comic book reading club last night, and we talked about the Ultimate Universe, and basically the only one that anyone was reading was Spider-Man. So yeah, I'm curious to see what you think about the Ultimate Universe that's going on right now in Marvel Comics. Now, we also have this article here, the 45 strongest DC characters. I'm going to go through this in another video. I think they got a lot of this right. Maybe I would have taken some off of this list and put some others on, but I will do a video where we go through this list and I'll tell you what I think about all of these different characters. I've read a lot of comic books, a lot of comic books, and I have a huge omnibus collection and stuff. So I feel like I'm a little bit of an authority on the strength of superheroes, okay? So if anyone wants to debate me, you can debate me in the comments of this upcoming video. But we're going to take a look at the 45 strongest DC characters of all time. All right, that's it for our Monday, November 3rd update video. If there's anything you want to see me talk about in these videos, please leave a comment. If there's anything I missed in Marvel, DC, Image, collectibles, Funko Pops, whatever it is, let me know. I will just say it. I do know my comic book stuff. So like I said, if there's something you want to hear my opinion on, please let me know. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe.